Hi everybody, I'm Tony Wilson here with my good friend and co-host Adrian Wright, and this is
The Supernatural and Beyond.
And in this particular segment, we're looking over the Mazzaroth. What is a Mazzaroth, you might ask? Well, a Mazzaroth is more commonly known as the Zodiac. Now, there are different perspectives of the Zodiac, dating all the way back to Mesopotamia, Babylon, the Greeks, the Romans, and in that time of the Greeks and the Romans, there were also the Hebraic understanding, better known as the Bible explanation. Well, if you go through the Bible, it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and earth, and he put in the sun, the moon, and the stars for times, signs, and seasons.
That's right.
So what we want to do today is to just take a little sneak peek at what the creator of the heavens and the earth had in mind for these things.
Yes. And one thing that I like is all the galaxies are kind of in a spiral. So even though they're different distances from the planet, they're all spiraled the same. And one thing that I really noticed when I was doing my research on this is the mathematical formula for the galaxies all are the same. And it's 1.618. It's also nicknamed Phi, P-H-I. And it's also nicknamed the Fingerprint of God.
The Fingerprint of God.
Yeah, and it's the tiniest little spiral. Everybody has the same spirals from their fingerprints, how they come out from your ear wrapping around. Makes like a galaxy. The same thing with hurricanes. They spin at the same mathematical formula of 1.618. I just found it very interesting because all the star clusters are like that. When you look at a snail, how the snail shell is shaped.
Right.
It's the same formula. Some people have their hair spiral out. It's all the same formula. God put that mathematical formula in play.
Sometimes that's called the golden ratio.
Yes.
And you can see it in, say, like pine cones.
Yes.
And you'll see how it spirals out and it's so forth and so on. But we don't want to get too earthbound. We want to get more heavenly bound. Exactly. Looking up at the stars. I'll share just one quick story with you. I had a supernatural experience where I was able to actually look at the star constellations, not from the earth looking up, but from the top of the star constellations looking down.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. And you mentioned that, and I think about the mathematical precision of keeping all of these celestial bodies spinning. It's funny, if you look at the North Star,
yes,
it's stationary.
Yes.
But all the other constellations are spinning, moving around it. And it's like, once again, we want to take a look at who created all of this, why was it created, and as we've stated before, Yahweh God Elohim created all of these things for times, signs, and seasons, so that we will all have an idea of what's coming. He wrote the end at the beginning of time.
Right. And what I find very interesting is when we're studying this, each constellation, each formation tells a story.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah, so it tells a story, and it all ties in to the story of redemption, which is really interesting because it was from the beginning that whole artwork was explained out in the cosmos. So, like, for example, Virgo, which is the first one, it represented the virgin with the child, you know? And then another interesting thing I had with Virgo was some of the constellations nearby are called deacons or something similar. The Hebrew meanings of them meant like branch. And it's the same meaning. It's brightest star. The brightest star's name is Tezemech in Hebrew. And it means branch. Like the same branch definition as Jesus is referred to as the branch of David. So I just found that very interesting with Virgo. What did you find with Virgo?
Well, with Virgo, it's everybody always thinks Virgo the Virgin.
Yeah.
Which refers to the first prophecy that was actually given in the Hebrew text where the seed of the woman would bruise the head of the serpent.
Yes.
Now, that's interesting because women don't have seed. Okay? So what we have here is something that would make you go, how does a woman have seed? What serpent are they going to bruise?
Yeah.
With one seed bruising the other, and this eternal conflict that's going on.
So, what I had with Libra was part of it means victim slain, paid a price on the cross, and then a crown, like a royal crown, right? And so part of the stars are actually shaped as a cross,
right,
and shaped as a crown that's in that constellation. And then also with that one, the Hebrew, I'm probably saying this wrong, Manzanium, was like the scales.
Got me.
The scales, right? And then in Hebraic, it means al-Zubinia, which means purchased and redemption. So another group of meanings, the Hebrew meanings from the star cluster, price that is deficient, a royal crown. I recently touched on that. To be slain, and then price that covers. So like the covering.
The redeeming price.
Yeah, there was a redeeming price.
Redeeming price. Yeah, there was another thing that I found. It's that the law of Moshe, or the law of Moses.
Yeah.
And that is, the short version of it is, it's the Old and New Testament, and it's also considered the Torah for the Hebrews. And interestingly enough, in Hebrew, the word law is not actually like we think of it as going to court or the Supreme Court or whatever it is. It actually means teaching.
Teaching. Okay,
Teaching.
yeah.
So the law is actually teaching us how the Creator set things up in the beginning.
Right, and that's like the teaching of Moses too. So like another star that I noticed was the next one in order was Scorpio, right? And it was like wrestling with a serpent. It was an image of a wrestler, and he's wrestling with the serpent, and he got bit on the heel. Which ties in to that prophecy back in Genesis about like the seed of the woman and
will crush the head of the serpent.
Yeah, but you'll get your heel will be bruised, right?
Exactly.
So the serpent attacks the heel. And something else interesting with Scorpio was it was like a curled up serpent that was causing a conflict, and it represents the enemy.
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't have to look very far to find conflict.
Yeah.
If somebody has one idea and somebody else has another idea, there's always that dynamic tension. Like being married, and your wife wants to do this, you want to do that. There has to be some kind of outcome at the end to resolve all of this. And that's one of the things that Scorpio does. It's just letting us know that there is an amicable solution to any and all situations. And if from the beginning, the Creator is going to make all things right through His one unique Son, Yeshua HaMashiach. Hey, I actually said that right for a change.
All right. Yeah, so it's very interesting, these constellations. Clearly, we can't get to all of them in this segment, but we covered the first three. And what I noticed with the storyline, Tony, is that it's told in the order of brightness. Of the
magnitude of brightness.
Yeah, so
of
it
the
starts with the brightest, and then it goes to the dimmest.
Yes.
So it's very interesting. We're going to cover more of these topics, more of these star constellations, but we want to remind our viewers that we're looking at the ancient Hebrew. We're looking at the created part of it, that God. So this is pointing towards God. This is pointing towards the creation. This is pointing towards Yeshua. And we want to steer our viewers away from astrology, from horoscopes, from predicting the future. You don't worship the stars. You don't worship the creation, but you worship the Creator. So we just want to thank all our viewers for watching us here at the Supernatural and Beyond. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and like this video. Give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below and subscribe for more content.